Will Wazoo follow nearly a dozen other institutions in mandating students are fully vaccinated next semester?
And major news out of the United Kingdom with the death in the royal family. This and more coming up on Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Mackenzie Dayton.
And I'm Zach Anders. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
WSU's plan for a robust hybrid instruction in the fall might include vaccine requirements. On Thursday, President Kirk Schultz and Provost Elizabeth Kilton told the WSU Faculty Senate that classes with over 100 students will be delivered remotely. There has been no formal announcement regarding fall's instruction format. Schultz said the administration is still looking into possible vaccine requirements, and official statements will be made by the end of the semester.
A lot of vaccine news today. Whitman County is on the verge of regressing back to phase 2 of the statewide COVID reopening plan. Governor Inslee announcing yesterday that nearly every county in the state but ours is moving in the right direction. With a 2-week total of over 400 cases, Whitman County is in danger of moving back into phase 2 if infections continue on this pace. Among other things, that would mainly move capacity limits back down to 25%. We're currently at 50% capacity for all venues.
According to BBC News, the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, had died this morning in Windsor Castle. Philip has been married to Queen Elizabeth II for over 70 years, and Philip is the longest-serving royal consort in British history. Philip had recently spent a month in the hospital before being released in mid-March. Prince Philip was 99.
Continuing with COVID news, there were 16 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Whitman County yesterday. According to Pullman Radio, 13 of them were from Washington State University students. There are now 67 active cases at WSU, an increase of 2 since the last report this Wednesday. Again, a trend that could push us back into phase 2 of the state's reopening plan. Whitman County has had 3,984 cases and 46 total deaths since the start of this pandemic.
According to the CDC, the highly contagious UK strain has become the dominant strain circulating in the U.S. right now. According to data by the CDC, 16,000 cases of the variant have been confirmed, but they believe it to be an undercount. Studies have shown the strain is more contagious and possibly more deadly.
And with that, we're going to go to our reporter Luke Walker, who is in Idaho right now with more.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. So I bet you all are wondering, why is reporter Luke Walker wearing a mask while he's outside in such a big open area? I'll tell you why. I am right outside of Idaho, where the COVID-19 variant from the United Kingdom is starting to spread. The variant has been present in 4 of more than 100 people who have tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 2 weeks. An Idaho State Health researcher says that they're working to get more people vaccinated because the more the virus spreads, the more likely it has a chance to mutate and change. So with more vaccinations equals less variants of COVID-19. So if you're in Idaho and Idaho health experts are saying to be safe and wear a mask, I'm going to get out of here before I'm at any more risk. So I'm Luke Walker. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Luke. I know those 9 miles really do make a difference between the two of us. We're just days away from vaccine eligibility opening up to everyone 16 and older. Starting April 15th, nearly everyone in the state can get the vaccine when they want it. However, those 16 and 17-year-olds might have an extra hoop to jump through still. Yesterday, state health officials clarified that they will need parent permission to be able to get the vaccine unless they're someone who is legally emancipated.
A historic first at the University of Idaho, one that has many on the Palouse proud. Our Sigmund Soroka has a story from Moscow.
The University of Idaho has just promoted its first African-American full professor by the name of Dr. Sidney Freeman Jr.
It wasn't a life goal. I didn't, growing up, I didn't know necessarily what professors were. What I did know after going through graduate school was that I wanted to be a leader in the higher education space.
To become a full professor was going to take a lot of work, and Dr. Freeman knew that just adding this to the list is one step closer to getting to where he wants to be. Dr. Freeman has accomplished a lot by the age of 36, but he knows that he still has many challenges laying ahead.
There are people that have never had a black professor before even more so, they've not had a Black authority figure in which they've interacted with. Imagine students, working with a professor, and I'm a young Black man, and I'm telling them no.
Dr. Freeman understands cultural differences are all part of the game, but his diverse background from childhood through higher education are proof these differences do not stop progress.
Particularly, I want to speak to Black students that they can persist in and do well in any space. If you want to succeed, that you don't have to be perfect, but what you want to do is aim for excellence.
For Murrow News 8, I'm Zygmunt Soroka.
According to NBC News, shipments of the single-shot vaccine by Johnson & Johnson are expected to be down 80%. Just 700,000 shots have been allocated for distribution compared to the 4.9 million doses the previous week. As the company continues to struggle with the manufacturing problems, it insists that it will be able to deliver 8 million doses by the end of April.
And according to CNBC, Pfizer and its partner biotech have requested that the FDA expand access to its vaccine to kids aged 12 to 15. The drug makers say their own testing found the vaccine was safe and effective within that age range. Pfizer is expected to pursue similar requests with other countries. To date, the vaccine was only provided to adults.
With more COVID vaccine locations opening up, what is it going to look like? At WSU Murrow News 8 reporter Jose Cuevas tries to find out more.
With Governor Jay Inslee expanding vaccine eligibility in Washington state to 16 years and older starting April 15th, the question remains, when can WSU students receive a vaccine? I tried reaching out multiple times to someone at Cougar Health Services to get some answers, but I received no response. Although I received no answer, Cougar Health Executive Director Joel Schwarzkopf spoke with WSU Insider about WSU's vaccination efforts. He said that this is a way for them to take care of WSU students. As vaccine locations begin opening up across Washington state and eligibility increased to 16 years and older, many students across WSU are wondering, when is it my turn to receive one of these? A vaccine card, so readily available to many now. Hopefully soon. According to WSU Insider, the Washington State Department of Health approved Cougar Health Services to serve as a COVID-19 vaccine provider, and just last Thursday administered 120 doses to students. This comes at a time when WSU is seeing a surge of cases, and after WSU President Kirk Scholz urged students to stop social gatherings. These changes coming to WSU will push the country towards the 200 million vaccines administered in President Biden's first 100 days in office plan, and maybe an end to this pandemic. For Murrow News 8, I'm Josue Cuevas.
Former President Donald Trump was talked out of defending Florida Representative Matt Gaetz after he was accused of a relationship with a minor and breaking sex traffic laws. Trump really wanted to defend the lawmaker but was told the allegations were too serious for the former president to be involved. Trump has remained quiet on the controversy, taking his lawyer's advice.
And a major milestone reached this week on Wednesday as new data has shown that 1 in 4, 25% of adults in the country have been fully vaccinated. The data from the CDC also showed that 40% of adults and 75% of seniors have received at least one dose. News of the week's Facebook data breach was frustrated many as more than 530 million users had their details leaked. Perhaps adding insult to injury, Facebook says it does not plan to notify the 500 million users affected. Facebook did clarify that non-financial health or password informations were included in the breach. A Facebook spokesman clarified, stating they were not confident who all had been affected and therefore didn't know who they should or should not notify. According to NBC News, the estate of the late singer Prince is planning to release a new album this July. The album, called Welcome to America, will feature 12 songs from the 7-time Grammy winner that have never been heard before by anyone. Prince passed away almost 5 years ago, and this is his first release since then. The album is expected to be released July 30th. And take a look at this wild scene unfolding in the Caribbean island of St. Vincent this morning. The ash plume here reaching up to 25,000 feet. Hundreds fled by car and even boat to escape the volcano's immediate blast zone. About 7,000 people are believed to have been evacuated. So far, Fortunately, no reports of injuries or fatalities. The La Soufriere volcano is situated among 3 dozen other islands with about 100,000 residents living in this area.
Japan is planning to release radioactive water into the sea. The government plans to release the treated water from the ruined Fukushima nuclear plant. The water has used to cool down melted fuel at the plant and will take 2 years to dispose. The water contains a chemical that poses little risk to human health even if drank, as long as the concentration is low. There is no risk of outside exposure if the water comes in contact with skin.
I don't know if I'm going to go swimming there anytime soon. Some good news in the movie theater business. Warner Brothers' Godzilla vs. Kong made $48.5 million at the box office in the first 5 days after release and $32 million over Easter weekend. The movie has made more than $285 million worldwide. Since Godzilla vs. Kong has pulled such huge numbers, movie theaters have shown signs of a comeback after the brutal year COVID created for the theater business.
Does your car meet Washington's new carbon cap?
And one of America's favorite rappers has died. More details coming up after the break.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
The Washington Senate passed 2 climate measures Thursday. The bill requires the state to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. The other measure pushes for cleaner transportation fuels. Washington Republicans were against both measures, leaving the measures to be approved 25 to 24. The bill needed to pass. State Representative Jim Walsh has introduced a bill that would ban vaccine passports in Washington state. Walsh, a Republican representing Aberdeen, said that he believes vaccine passports violate citizens' civil and constitutional rights. According to Cairo Radio, Governor Jay Inslee has indicated that vaccine passports are unlikely at this time. However,
are you excited to see the WSU seniors off this semester? Our Jay Bradley spoke with some seniors about their plans for graduation.
I'd say to graduate probably an 8, just because I'm kind of sad to be leaving Pullman. But at the same time, I'm excited to start my career and start my life outside of college.
I'm Jay Bradley, and I'm here in front of Beasley Coliseum. Beasley has been the classic place for WSU graduations. However, this year it will be held somewhere very different. Instead, many students will be graduating here, in front of their computer screens. Some students remain hopeful, however, with the governor's recent announcement that all Washingtonians 16 and older will be eligible for the vaccine soon. Maybe by graduation, festivities can take place?
The 8th, I'm going to a wedding and going to celebrate
So
some other people's lives.
I rented my cap and gown about a week ago, I think, through like the link that Wazoo provided.
I've worked so many hours, countless days, weeks, on getting into an industry that I feel very excited about. I'm very much excited to be done with like a situation of being a student here.
Because it's all online, so it's kind of just disappointing, I guess. I plan to stay here for like 2 weeks after graduation with my roommates just to hang out, enjoy Pullman for the time that we got here, and then pretty much right after that I go home and I start work a week later.
From Murrow News 8, I'm Jay Bradley.
Music legend DMX died this morning at the age of 50. Earl Simmons, who went by DMX, was rushed to a hospital on April 2nd after suffering a heart attack. He was placed on life support, and the cause of a heart attack is still unsure with his doctors.
Kentucky has now partially banned no-knock raids. Democratic Governor Andy Beshear signed a law behind bipartisan supports, saying in order for a no-knock raid to happen, there must be a clear and convincing evidence, and the crime being investigated would qualify a person if convicted as a violent officer. Governor Beshear said, quote, "This will save lives and it will move us in the right direction," end quote.
Coming up after the break, Natalie is going to bring us the weather, and hopefully it will not be as snowy as it looks.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing. We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat,
Come on.
or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
The weather has been a little back and forth lately. Is it going to get any better, Natalie?
Yes, I've got your weather for today. That's kind of a hard question to answer, but let's first take a look at the weather today. So today, sunny today, high of 57 and a low of 36, and sunrise just past 6 o'clock and sundown just around 7:30. Now let's take a look at tomorrow, and this is where it's not looking too great. So we're going to see some snow, so if you're not a fan of the snow, I am sorry. As the snow isn't going to be light, it's really going to be coming down, and Mother Nature is going to throw in another curveball as we're going to get some blowing dust in there with winds up to 23 miles an hour and some gusts up to 35 miles an hour. So tomorrow might be a good day to stay inside. Now let's take a look at the west side of Washington. It's Olympia rainy, and this evening in Seattle you might get some rain. Now central Washington, pretty sunny. Yakima almost hit 70 degrees, but there's going to be some rain overnight, so be aware of that. Tri-Cities hit 75, but there's going to be some strong gusts, so bring inside anything that might be blowing around. Eastern Washington, partly cloudy. And Spokane, you might get some strong gusts tonight too. Now I'm going to have you take a look at the 5-day forecast here. Again, that snow is going to be coming down on Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday are your nice days. So be sure to enjoy it while it lasts. I'm Natalie Newcomb with your weather.
Thank you, Natalie. WSU Sports had a big week. More on that with Asia Farrington after the break.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
WSU women's soccer is playing at home today against Oregon State at 7 p.m. This is their 10th game of the season with 5 wins and 5 losses. They have 2 games left in their season against University of Oregon and the University of Washington. Washington State baseball is playing at Salt Lake City against the University of Utah at 5 p.m. today. This is their 25th game of the season with 14 wins and 10 losses. There's 27 games scheduled for the remainder of the season. You can access a live stream to their game today at pac12.com. LeBron James suffered a high sprained ankle injury on court 3 weeks ago and has been out ever since, but he be making a full recovery. Dr. David Geyer, an orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine specialist, said, quote, "I expect when he completely heals, he should be just like who he was before he got hurt," end quote. James is expected to make a full recovery. The Lakers have been struggling due to the absence of James. Referee Bert Smith, who had collapsed during Gonzaga's March Madness game against USC, says the cause of his fall was due to a blood clot in his lungs. He claims the fall might have even saved his life. Smith was conscious while being lifted off the court by medical personnel and later was told about the blood clot being the reason for the fall at the hospital. He was released after a 2-day stay. You could be finding your way to the set of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And did you help save this dog's legs? These and more coming up next on Murrow News 8.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Twitch streamer Ludwig Ogren is still live. He has been continuously streaming for over 25 days now. This morning there was a close call when the countdown clock on his subathon was down to only 6 seconds. His stream even survived an issue on Twitch's end that caused a loss of subscribers. The platform gave out a free subscription to users to balance it out, which is now powering the subathon.
Expenses are always an important issue for students. Murrow News 8 reporter Alex Canzaro took a deeper look at how some WSU faculty were able to save their students over $200,000.
Everybody saves $100 to $150.
Those are words that would make college students around the country sit up in their seat. College students struggling with finances is nothing new, and studies may suggest that it's only getting worse. Every semester, college students flock to their local bookstores like the Bookie here at WSU to buy textbooks for their courses. According to College Board, college students spend $1,200 on textbooks every year. A new grant at WSU issued to 5 faculty members saved college students $200,000 on textbooks this year alone. The Affordable Learning Grant was offered to all WSU faculty members last spring. The grant is designed to help transition from traditional textbooks to open educational resources, which are usually openly licensed digital textbooks. Colin Scholl was one of the 5 faculty members selected for the grant. Scholl, a lecturer of Spanish here on the Pullman campus, used the grant to develop a new digital platform for his students.
Language is a community-owned system, and so I think that there's nothing stopping us. Most of what our text is links to free resources and videos we made ourselves. It's very easy to do, and I think that I don't want to use too strong of language, but there's no reason to make students buy Spanish when it's out there for free.
Scholl continued, saying that his students have had a positive reaction to the transition to a digital textbook. Perhaps most important for college students is the potential financial impact on not buying textbooks. I spoke with WSU student Dakota Cruz, who mentioned what it would mean if he had to spend less on textbooks every semester.
Well, you know, as adults, we have a lot of stuff that we spend money.
Disneyland's Avenger Camp is set to open June 4th. Marvel fans will be able to experience this new extension to California Adventures in Anaheim after waiting for over a year due to COVID. It will feature a new Spider-Man attraction, a dining location called Pym Particles Test Kitchen, and an area based on Doctor Strange.
I've been waiting all day to tell this one. Butch the dog is one lucky pooch. Take a look at this good boy who is on the mend after breaking 2 of his legs. How the 1-year-old stray did so is anyone's guess. The Labrador Retriever mix was taken to WSU's veterinary hospital, where in just 48 hours, he was able to raise $10,000 in donations to help pay for his surgeries. He's expected to make a full recovery. The vets say he was calm and friendly the entire time. It was a close call, though, for that wild ride for Butch the dog.
He's so cute, and I'm happy he's all good. Thanks for watching. If you missed anything in this or any previous newscast, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
More news can be found on nwpb.org. Good night.